and Network, wherever you may be. Alongside Kelsey Mannix, I'm Ben Curtis. The Terps and Golden Gophers just about set for battle. The Terps have lost 7 straight opening sets. They haven't scored more than 22 points in the first set in 5 consecutive matches. Looking to change that channel here in Kelsey. A strong start going to be really crucial. The Terps are going to pull off an upset.
Yeah, absolutely. Throughout the season, we've seen Maryland build up momentum and be able to finish it off, but sometimes against tougher teams like in the Big Ten, like Wisconsin, Nebraska, Minnesota, they kind of struggle a little bit to build that momentum back up. So I think if they get outshone here, we could have a tight contest. Maryland
has lost 9 consecutive sets. 3 straight 3-0 losses. It's the first time that has happened since October of 2017, but an opportunity for Adam Hughes to turn a lot of heads in the NCAA women's volleyball world if he can pull off the upset today over Hugh McCutcheon's Golden Gophers. Rachel Kilkelly is at the service line, ready to get us underway on a chilly night in College Park. Away we go from the Xfinity Center Pavilion. Raynell Jones with the first opportunity, controlled though by Bailey McMenamin. And now off of the block, it's Snyder for Raynell Jones down the middle. Right back onto Maryland's side. Rebecca Rath will to the block. We get a whistle and Maryland will get the first point of the day.
Yeah, that was really good for Maryland there. Both teams were reading the hits very well there, getting the touches. And so Maryland came out on top.
Going to be an area which Maryland will really miss Katie Myers at the service line. Myers tied for the team lead with 37 aces along with Sam Snyder, but she won't be available today as Bailey McMenamin, the setter from Minnesota, sets it up, and Stephanie Samity tools the block for the first kill of the day for the Golden Gophers. She has been crucial as well for Minnesota.
Yeah, absolutely. She's going to be out there on the opposite side. She had 8 kills versus Purdue on Sunday, so we'll be keeping an eye on her during tonight's match.
That's CeCe McGraw at the service line, the libero today for the Golden Gophers out of Prior Lake, Minnesota. Right to the other libero, Allegra Rivas. Now Erica Pritchard goes cross court, and Maryland leads 2-1.
And Pritchard's going to have to keep doing that throughout this match in order to keep Maryland tight in this game. If she does her thing, I think, like I said before, they could keep it tight.
Maryland faced Minnesota twice last year. Erica Pritchard had 11 and 16 kills in the 2 contests in 2018. Free ball coming for the Terps. And it's Erica Pritchard once again off of her back foot. Minnesota just able to pinball it around. And now right down the middle, but Minnesota able to keep it in play once again. That's on the far side for Adana Rollins. And now Snyder. It's McGraw for Stephanie Samity trying to tool the block. Maryland able to keep a long rally alive. Bailey McMenamin will try Rollins once again and is able to tool the block. And the Golden Gophers are even. That's the kind of points that Minnesota is going to need to win if they're going to continue to have this successful season. It's the kind of point on the other side that Maryland really needs to win if they're going to pull off the upset.
Yeah, absolutely. And both teams were hustling throughout that entire rally there. We just are going to have to see who's going to be able to keep that endurance up.
That's the 12th service error of the season for Stephanie Samity. It's been an issue for her on the campaign, only 17 service aces compared to the dozen service errors now for the Clearmont, Florida native. Well, the Terps back out on top by 1, still in the very early on here at the Xfinity Center Pavilion. First half of a very tough weekend for the Maryland Terrapins. Number 6 Minnesota today, number 4 Wisconsin tomorrow in the AVCA coaches poll. It's the second time in back-to-back years that the Terps have had to deal with the Golden Gophers and Badgers on back-to-back days here at the Pavilion. That's Reagan Pittman getting things going for the Golden Gophers. Spring Hill, Kansas native with 2.42 kills per set. And don't talk about her as much as we may talk about Rollins and Hart and Samity, but she's been crucial for the Golden Gophers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to have to keep an eye on her with that kind of power and that ability to transition over on the side. She's going to be a threat today.
That's a dig that went over to the Minnesota side, and easy pickings for the Golden Gophers as they lead for the first time today. Heidi Miyabe was able to put it away for perhaps the easiest point she will get all day. And Maryland with having a bit more trouble at the net. And Minnesota opens their lead up to 2. Adana Rollins at the service line. Only 3 service aces on the season, 17 service errors. Chloe Prejean setting it up for Pritchard. She finds it. And Maryland back within 1. Maryland going to need to go for a couple of different setters. We talked about why it matters that Katie Myers is not in, but Nicole Alford's still out as well with an injury. So Chloe Prejean getting some time at the setter position. And there you saw she was able to dish it over to Erica Pritchard. Now it's Pritchard digging it out for Prejean. Rebecca Rath, and we are tied.
Yeah, that was huge for Maryland there. Rebecca Rath has been a great freshman player for Maryland this year. She's been doing really well at the outside hitter position. We're going to need to keep an eye on her tonight too.
Talked about it all season. The real big senior loss last year offensively was Liz Twilley. And Rebecca Rath picking right where Twilley left off. Prejean for Rath once again going off speed. Free ball coming for Maryland, but some miscommunication, and the Gophers retake the lead.
That's something Maryland's going to have to watch, those off-speed putovers at the net there.
Take another look at the heads-up play from Tamara Delonga, the Croatian. Hopping right into the offense for Minnesota. That's her first kill on the season. Allegra Rivas able to keep it off the floor. Rath will have to go off of her back foot. Here's Delonga. For Alexis, Hart gets on the board.
And she was able to recognize that open hole there right by that 10-foot line. No Maryland player was there, couldn't get there in time.
We'll take another look at the off speed. Pritchard was in the area, but no, Terrapin was able to keep it off of the floor, and the Gophers reclaim their 2-point lead in the early going. Reagan Pittman's serve goes over back onto the Golden Gophers side. Second time that's already happened today for the Terrapins, and Minnesota makes them pay for it.
Yeah, they're going to have to watch those overpasses on that first touch off the serve. What they're going to do, they're either going to put it right back down if it's tied to the net, or they're going to take advantage like they did there, is set up with 3 hits.
Reagan Pittman was first team All-Big Ten in 2018, second team All-American as well, the redshirt junior. Standing at 6'5", one of the tallest players on the floor. And once again, you see the overpass from Maryland. They're able to deal with it, and Rath hits off of her back foot. Now Delonga, back set. And Minnesota keeps it alive. Once more now from Miyabe, off speed, and the lead is up to 4.
She was able to just get it over the Maryland blockers. They don't have the height that Katie Myers does, and she's normally there in the game. So Minnesota took advantage of that at that point.
Heidi Miyabe, a transfer from the College of Southern Idaho, one of the most prolific junior colleges in all of college volleyball. 10 national championships, by far the most in the D1 JUCO ranks. Minnesota going to get another point there off of the Maryland miscommunication. They couldn't handle the serve, and the Golden Gophers doubling up the Terrapins. Pittman straight back to the line. What a good run of serves it has been from the redshirt junior. Doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes at the line. Only 9 service errors on the season. And now Rebecca Rath will try once again. And Adana Rollins couldn't keep it in play. Well, Rebecca Rath gets her 3rd kill of the day. That's actually leading all hitters to keep Maryland in this first set. 11-13 over the course of the season in first sets, the Terrapins are. 15-5 on the other side for the Golden Gophers. Now Hart has to hit it over. Gardner is there. Now Prejean. Erica Pritchard out of the back row. Delonga able to keep it off of the floor. Now Miyabe, it's blocked by Maryland, but it went out of bounds, and the Golden Gophers will get the point. Raynell Jones was in the area, but couldn't keep it between the white lines.
That was a good rally, though, there by Maryland. They got the momentum after breaking up that 4-0 run, but it just took a bad touch and went out of bounds.
So here is Bailey McMenamin at the service line, the Niceville, Florida native. Only saw 1 set apiece against Stanford, Clemson, and Oral Roberts in the out-of-conference schedule, but has become much more involved once Hugh McCutcheon has entered Big Ten play. That one's out of bounds wide, and Maryland will get the point off of the kill attempt error.
This is an opportunity for Maryland to go on a run here, getting that momentum, taking advantage of the error by Minnesota. We'll see what Sam Snyder does here at the line.
Snyder really the best option for Maryland at the service line with Katie Myers out with the foot injury. In case you are just joining us, that is the big news coming out of Maryland Terrapins camp. Pritchard trying to keep it off the floor. Now she'll send a free ball over. McGraw, McMenamin. And that's how the Golden Gophers are going to get a lot of points today. CeCe McGraw to Bailey McMenamin, and she has plenty of options.
Yeah, absolutely. She's got a bunch of hit styles in her tool bag, and she took advantage there with the off speed and found the empty hole.
Oh, Rachel Kilkelly straight back to the service line. That's how we got things started, and as we stand, it's 12-7 in favor of the Golden Gophers. Rebecca Rath hits it right into the block and right back onto the Terps side. Pritchard out of the back row. And now it pinballs back onto the Golden Gophers half of the floor. And the Terps can't keep it off of the floor on their side, and Minnesota has a baker's dozen.
That was a good drive by Schreiner, staying with it, getting that touch off the block, but unfortunately it just did not go Maryland's way.
Adam Hughes will take a timeout to talk things over. We will step aside as well. Minnesota up early 13-7. McMenamin a big piece wide. Back here on the Big Ten Network, Kelsey Mannix and Ben Curtis with you. The NCAA coming out with their committee's top 10 rankings. Minnesota right in it, sitting at number 8, one of 3 Big Ten squads, along with Wisconsin and Nebraska, a part of the top 10. Maryland trying to knock off the Golden Gophers, though. They're down by 6 as Rollins hits it into the net, and Maryland will get the point.
Yeah, that was a good job there by Schreiner and Jones getting up and getting that block.
We'll take another look at the NCAA committee's top 10s. The official bracket revealed on December 1st, and the Golden Gophers expect to be a top seed in it. Here's Bailey McMenamin. Far side for Rollins. Pritchard able to get a handle on it, and Schreiner will send it over. McMenamin once again. Some miscommunication on the Golden Gophers side, but McGraw bump set for Stephanie Samity, and Rivas able to get the help off the block, and Raynell Jones puts it on the ground right down the middle.
And that's just what Maryland needed from her. She's going to need to step up here in the middle position. She had 5 kills and 3 blocks against Ohio State, but that was a good job by her to find that open, not necessarily open spot, but hit it at that angle.
Minnesota was interested in recruiting Raynell Jones, as was North Carolina State, UNC, and UVA, but she became a Terrapin, and now her Terps down only 3 after the service ace from Samantha Bergio. 6th service ace on the season for the junior from Eden, New York. Starting to get more and more playing time as we head into conference play. And Sam Bergio making an impact, but she gives the point right back with a service error. First service error on the day for Maryland. 153 coming into today. Maryland's opponents only have 141, and Minnesota has been very stingy at the line, only 106 on the season. McGraw's serve. Now Snyder for Pritchard off of the block. Falls onto the Golden Gophers half. McMenamin back set for Samity off of the block, but it falls out of bounds, and Minnesota will reclaim a 5-point advantage.
That was
Stephanie
a good job.
Samity, go ahead, Kelsey.
That was a good job by Minnesota communicating there and being ready. And
Samity starting to get more involved.
Yeah, and she got that good touch off of the block there to get that point for her team.
Emma Schreiner will have to keep it in play, and Rivas sends a free ball over. McGraw, McMenamin. Samity blocked by Maryland. Pritchard got a hand on it, so did Raynell Jones.
They got the friendly touch that time, went out of bounds the first time, but try it again, go back up, got a different result, and it went in Maryland's favor.
They deflected off of the net as well, but regardless, Rivas brings them within 3 with a service ace. A friendly roll once again off of the net, and the Terps within 3.
Yeah, when those serves hit the net, you never know where it's going to go. Sometimes it drops straight down, sometimes it travels a little bit like it did there. Those are really tough to read.
Rivas will try again, clears the net by a bigger margin as McMenamin sets it up for Pittman, who sends it long, and Maryland cutting the deficit back down to 2. Allegra Rivas started all 32 games last season. That libero finished 4th in the Big Ten in digs per set with 4.58, turning it a good sophomore performance as well in 2019. McMenamin sets it up this time for Rollins, and Rivas hits it into Bergio, and Minnesota gets the point. Rachel Kilkelly has been a big part of what the Golden Gophers have done so far today, but it will be Samity at the line. And the junior first-team All-American with a floater, and that fell in front of Sam Bergio. But Minnesota reopening their lead back to 4.
Yeah, those floaters are some of the toughest ones to read. There's not really a lot of spin on the ball, so it makes it tough to pass, but it's also tough to read because it could just drop like it did in that serve.
Samity will try again. This time Pritchard hits it behind her. Rivas keeps it in play, and Bergio gets it over. Now Pittman will set it up for Rollins, and now it falls onto Maryland's side. Rivas, far side for Schreiner, it's long. Attack error from Emma Schreiner. Heck of a play from Allegra Rivas to keep it alive, and Adam Hughes might want to argue that that took a deflection, and so he will use his challenge. 2.
That was huge for Maryland, and they're just going to keep going to Pritchard because she's been doing really well at the net. And if they keep going to her, once again, I think they can keep it tight and make a run like they're doing now.
3rd kill on the day for Erica Pritchard. 2 Maryland players have 3 kills, 2 for the Golden Gophers as well. DeLonga keeps it up for Rollins, and that tools the block, and Minnesota back up by 3. Adana Rollins gets credit for the kill, and she'll go straight to the service line. As DeLonga comes off for the Golden Gophers, McMenamin back on. Rollins' serve gets to Prejean, and Erica Pritchard cross court. Erica Pritchard keeping Maryland in this first set, in the middle of this set. Back to within 2 once again. It was Miyabi who came onto the floor in place of DeLonga, not McMenamin. My apologies. And now here is DeLonga once again for Miyabi. Terps keep it alive, and now it will be sent over by Taylor Smith, who has come into the game on the other side. Reagan Pittman tries her luck. Rivas keeps it alive. Pritchard out of the back row. Terps within 1.
And that is her 5th kill of the set so far. And once again, she's been doing very well hitting-wise. She's been able to find the open spots or get those touches off of those kills. They should keep going to her.
At the service line as well, DeLonga, far side for Hart. Talked about her in the pregame, how big she's going to be for the Golden Gophers, and she extends the lead back up to 2.
Absolutely, and like I said before, she can mix up her shots like that, so she went off speed there, threw off Maryland's defense a little bit, was able to get that point. Here's another look.
Very aware to take just a bit off of that one to bring the Golden Gophers back up by a pair. Spring Hill, Kansas native floats one at the line. Rivas gets it to Prejean. Back set for Jada Gardner. Straight into the Golden Gophers, and the Minnesota back up by 3.
Yeah, that's something we're going to have to watch this game. Minnesota's blocks are going to be very, very tough throughout this match, and that was their first one on the day.
Another timeout on the floor. We will take one along with the Minnesota up by 3 right now. Big thanks to the block by Hart. Back here on the Big Ten Network, and Kelsey, Erica Pritchard has been so good in keeping Maryland in this set, only down by 3.
Absolutely. As you can see, she's been going cross court there a lot, but then she was also going out of the back row, went off that angle off the right side, was able to get those points for the Maryland Terrapins, and now she has 5 kills so far.
Only averaging 3.14 kills per set in Big Ten play, as she has struggled a bit in conference, but already 5 here so far today. And now she gets the dig to get it over to Prejean. Rath will have to hit off of her back foot. And Tamara DeLonga able to set it up. Pritchard once again with a defensive play. And now Rebecca Rath. Rollins was able to get a hand on it. And that's going to fall out of bounds off of the hands of Tamara DeLonga, and Maryland back within 2. Terps just won't go away here in the first set.
No, they won't. They're continuing to fight, and that's what you need to do against these top 10 teams. Just keep fighting and take advantage of mistakes whenever you can.
Jada Gardner serves straight to Adana Rollins. Now DeLonga, blocked by Maryland. Raff and Raynell Jones.
But unfortunately, it did land out of bounds, so it looks like Minnesota is
you're absolutely right about it, Kelsey. Terps got to the spot, but just couldn't keep it in between the lines. So instead of a 1-point game, it's a 3-point game. We'll take another look at it as Raff got there first, but it just went wide.
Look.
Now Prejean, back for Rebecca Raff, goes cross court, CeCe McGraw is there. McMenamin for Samity off of the block, and that one's gonna stay in play.
Yeah, that one took a friendly bounce there. Good job by Maryland's blockers to get up there and get in the face of Minnesota setters.
Samantha Snyder going to come into the game and go straight to where she has been very comfortable this season, at the service line. 37 aces, 31 service errors. A healthy ratio for the senior from Manhattan Beach, California. With the lefty serve, it gets to McMenamin. And now Alexis Hart off of the block, and the Golden Gophers reclaim the 3-point lead.
That's only her 3rd kill of the match, so she's getting up there for Minnesota. We're still going to have to keep an eye on her. Though she's not leading the team in kills right now, they could be going to her more.
Hart checks out of the game. Rachel Kelly will serve it long, and the Terps are up to 20.
It almost caught Rebecca Rath on the head there. You could see her react there a little bit.
First service error on the day for Rachel Kelly. It sends it right back over to Rebecca Rath, who gives the point back to the Golden Gophers. Second service error on the day, and it's a costly one.
Yeah, absolutely, especially this late in the set. You can't afford to make mistakes like that.
So it's CeCe McGraw, Big Ten All-Freshman team in 2018, playing all 107 sets for the Golden Gophers. He gets it to Rebecca Rath. Snyder, Pritchard goes off speed. Rollins with a heck of a play to keep it alive, and McMenamin will send it over. Snyder, this time for Raynell Jones, right down the middle.
That was huge for Jones, her 2nd kill of the match so far. Good job by her to find that open space and go deep.
Allegra Rivas now, the sophomore standing at 5'10", Aledo, Texas, where she calls home. And she serves it with the right hand. McMenamin on one knee to get it to Rollins. Pritchard keeps it off the floor. And now Rath out of the back row, it's wide. And Minnesota has 3 set points. McMenamin will check back out of the game. And Heidi Miyabi will come on in. Golden Gophers faithful on their feet. There's a good traveling crowd here at the Xfinity Center Pavilion as Stephanie Samity's at the line. It gets to Snyder. Down the middle for Gardner off the block. Stays off the floor. Now Rollins. And that one's long, and Maryland able to stay alive. Oh, it will be a point for Minnesota. It took a deflection. The side judge said it was long, but the head judge overruling and saying it went off of a Maryland player last. So Minnesota will win the first set 25-21. Maryland had 5 kills. It'll be Sam Snyder who goes to the line first. 4 assists on the day for Snyder. Chloe Prejean has 6 as Maryland rolls with a couple of different setters, still dealing with the loss of Nicole Alford. And the first serve of the second set from Snyder works its way to Adana Rollins, but Rivas is there. Now Jones with the left hand. Good adjustment in air to keep it alive. Rollins gets Minnesota on the board to start the second, and Adana Rollins keeping up with an excellent first set, getting on the board here in set number 2.
Yeah, and she's showing us why she's leading her team in kills in this match. She's getting the touches off the block, but she's also finding the holes on Maryland's side.
CeCe McGraw on the other side for the Golden Gophers. Gets it to Snyder, and Raynell Jones down the middle. They're all leaving at 1.
That was her 3rd kill of the match. She does a good job of getting up and once again finding those empty spots, making Minnesota move.
5 kills and 3 blocks in each game against the Golden Gophers back in 2018. Already 2 blocks on the day so far for the sophomore from Oxon Hill, Maryland. Samity calls for the set and gets it to Pittman. Now Pritchard for Snyder. Jones once again tools the block. Off of the deflection, Maryland leads 2-1, Kelsey.
Yeah, absolutely. That was good communication there by Maryland. Raynell Jones, that was her 4th there, so she's just behind Erica Pritchard with 5 kills on the match.
Sam Bergio now at the line. And a whistle and an infraction against Minnesota, so Maryland opening up a 2-point advantage early on. Hugh McCutcheon now having a word with the assistant referee. That's Tom Joseph on the far side. Brian Hemmelgarn is the man leading the charge. Doug Dunkel and Rich Welch are 2 line judges today at the Xfinity Center Pavilion. So we'll be right back to Samantha Bergio. Serving it with the right hand. McMenamin setting it up for Reagan Pittman, and that's too much time and space as far as the Terps are concerned for Reagan Pittman. Second-team All-American, going to put that on the ground every time.
Absolutely. She was a little quiet there in the first set, but here, as you can see, she was able to get up off of that quick set and put it right down.
Pritchard able to corral the serve. Now over to the near side for Schreiner, who's been quiet today, unable to get it through the block, and now it's sent over back to the Golden Gophers. McGraw for Rollins. It's tight at the net, and it falls on Maryland's side and in play. Minnesota with a scrappy point there.
Yeah, absolutely. They really need to follow those balls. Even if you think it's going to go out, you've got to try and go for it.
Stephanie Samity back to the line. And Pritchard has it. Now Snyder right back to Erica Pritchard, and that one goes long. An attack error for Erica Pritchard. It's her first of the day, and Minnesota back out in front. 3 straight points for the Golden Gophers. They'll send Samity right back to the line. Once again, it goes to Pritchard, and she gets it right back, goes off speed. But Samity is there. Adana Rollins can't get it through the block, and this game is tied.
That was a good job there by Raynell Jones getting her 3rd block of the match.
This set is tied, I should say. All even at 4 early on in the second set after a 25-21 Minnesota win in set number 1. Rivas at the service line. Kilkelly, and it works its way to Miabe. Now Rivas and Pritchard will have to go off of her back foot. Heck of a play from DeLonga to keep it alive, and now Rollins able to find a bit of space on the left side of the Maryland defense.
That's going to be her match-leading 8th kill.
Credit that point to Adana Rollins and the Golden Gophers. They have a 1-point advantage. It's Pritchard once again corralling the serve, and she gets it right back again. Tried to go down the line, but went wide, and Minnesota up by 2.
Here's another look at it. You see it just landed outside in that red area.
So Rollins right back to the line. And that one's going to be watched by Pritchard and watched all the way long. A service error from Adana Rollins, number 18 on the season for her. And Maryland draws right back within 1. Service game is going to be important for the Terrapins. They have 12 losses on the season, and only 3 to the opponents have more service errors than Maryland. The Terps and Golden Gophers both need to make sure they get a handle on the unforced errors. That's Alexis Hart down the left side, restoring the 2-point lead.
And she was just doing what she does best there, getting up, getting that power kill.
Adam Hughes might be wanting to use a challenge on this, whether it went in or out, but going to be waving play on now. He just had a quick word with the second referee, but now it will fall to the hands of Reagan Pittman. Chloe Prejean back in the game. And Taylor Smith sends it over. Rollins tracks it down. Alexis Hart once again. Pritchard able to keep it off of the floor. Now Jada Gardner with one hand. And a free ball coming the way of the Terrapins. It's Prejean for Erica Pritchard down the middle. Rollins keeps it off the floor. Now Alexis Hart goes off speed. Can't get it through the block.
That was a good hustle there by both teams. Minnesota keeping it in there out of system, but Maryland got rewarded.
Terps back within one now, 7-6. Jada Gardner gets the credit for the block. Her first of the day. And Pritchard's serve goes straight to Alexis Hart. Now on the far side, it took a deflection, and Minnesota will retake the 2-point lead. A couple of substitutions will be made now for Hugh McCutcheon. Looks like Bailey McMenamin going to come back into the game, and she'll go straight to the line. Didn't see any action last year, but once we've gotten into Big Ten play, she has seen plenty of playing time, including a 50-assist day against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Jada Gardner can't get it through the block, and Maryland will just send it over. A heads-up play there. But it's Stephanie Samity. Rivas tries to keep it alive, and now Gardner just able to do so. Second time the Terps have saved it. For the third time's the charm for the Golden Gophers.
And once again, we're seeing both teams play a little bit out of system there. And Maryland got the reward last time. Now it was Minnesota's turn.
McMenamin, the sophomore, standing at 5'9", sends it wide, and the point goes right back to Maryland. Service errors starting to mount up a bit for both teams. That's the fourth on the day for the Golden Gophers, 2 on the other side for Maryland. Jada Gardner's serve finds its way to McMenamin, and now blocked, but it will be a point for Minnesota as it just went on to the Maryland side. My apologies. A 3-point lead back for the Golden Gophers, and Rachel Kilkelly back to the line, a Shakopee, Minnesota native. As Rath sends an overpass back onto the Golden Gophers side, right down the middle, can't fight through the block is Taylor Morgan, but that one gets through for a Golden Gophers point once again.
And that was a good job by Minnesota with the setter not being available there, taking that opportunity to get that assist and that kill.
The lead now up to 11-7. This time Rath able to keep it on the Maryland side. McMenamin with a back set now to Stephanie Samity. And now Rebecca Rath tries once again off of McGraw, and Maryland gets back on the board.
That was huge for Maryland. Rebecca Rath, always a good power hitter for the Terrapins. We're going to see if they can build off of that momentum.
Taylor Smith is out, and Samantha Snyder is in right to the service line once again. She's one of Maryland's serving specialists with that left-handed floater. McMenamin able to send it over to the far side, but the Minnesota player was out of bounds when she hit it, and it's an infraction against the Golden Gophers. Maryland back within 2. Call immediately made by the line judge, so the Terps right back in it, and Snyder right back to the line. McMenamin with a back set to Samity, and Snyder will send it into the crowd up above our heads courtside here. And Minnesota with the lead right back up to 3 as CeCe McGraw will go back into the rotation. Rath to Snyder. Out of the back row comes Erica Pritchard. Overpass right back on to Maryland's side, and Jones sends it right back over. Now Rollins finds the back corner.
That was a smart move there by Rollins to find that open space and go team, take that chance, because sometimes those shots do go out when you try that. But here's another look at the rally.
She's up to 10 kills on the day. 7 digs as well. Snyder will try Jones, but can't fight through the block. Eventually gets through onto Minnesota's side. Rollins once more, and once again finds some space. It's the Adana Rollins show in the second set here for Minnesota.
Definitely is, and now Maryland's going to take a timeout, talk it over, see if they can contain Rollins, because she is at 11 kills now.
Minnesota has opened the lead up to 5, 14-9, with a 1-0 as lead as well. Adana Rollins down the left side on the Big Ten Network. We return to the Big Ten Network here between Maryland and Minnesota, and Kelsey, Adana Rollins has been so good today.
Absolutely, as you can see here, she's hitting .429, 7 digs, 11 kills, getting close to a double-double here.
She's had double-doubles in 4 of her last 5 games. Well on her way again here at the Pavilion, but Rebecca Rath gets the kill for Maryland, and they cut the deficit back down to 4.
And that puts her tied with Erica Pritchard for the lead in kills on the match. Here's another look here. Just hits it right in front of Cece McGraw.
McGraw was a step too late to that one from the freshman Floridian. Bailey McMenamin now setting it up for Rollins once again, this time blocked by the Terps. So they'll try Reagan Pittman, and it's the 1-2 punch for the Golden Gophers. If you can't get it to number 20, try number 21 right down the middle.
Definitely, and with that quick set, it's hard to react to it. See, Minnesota got there first, was able to put it down.
Stephanie Samney, who's been relatively quiet today, but still has plenty of offensive firepower, goes to the line. And Snyder will get it to Pritchard. That finds the corner right down the line, and Maryland back within 4 again.
Yeah, she had a couple earlier, one of them that was down the line like that did go out, but it's good to see her trying again, getting back into it, and getting the point.
I think Hugh McCutcheon might be wanting to make the referees take another look at this one. As it stands, it's 15-11 and the 6th kill for Erica Pritchard. So we will take another look at it down on the floor. Erica Pritchard, as it stands, hitting .211, already up to double digits in terms of digs with 12. 6 kills if it stands, and we'll take another look at this one right down the line. And it might be more of a question of whether or not it was long than wide, Kelsey.
That's true, and it was a little tough to see there with the movement, but we're going to get the call now. It was out.
So swing the point over to the Golden Gophers at 16-10. Maryland got the benefit of one challenge, and now Hugh McCutcheon on the other side for Minnesota gets one. We'll take the kill away from Erica Pritchard as well. She stands on 5 along with Rebecca Rath. Raynell Jones has 4, and on the other side it's all Adana Rollins with 11. Heidi Miabe has 5, and Taylor Morgan, Alexis Hart have 4 apiece for the Golden Gophers. A 16-10 Minnesota leads it. As Stephanie Samity right back to the line once again. It's Bergio for Snyder, and Raynell Jones, that's wide. Looking to find the right side of the Minnesota defense. Just pushed it into the red paint, and now Adam Hughes will want to talk things over.
Maryland men's basketball season tickets are on sale now. Join head coach Mark Sturgeon. The Terps this season.
Back here on the Big Ten Network alongside Kelsey Mannix, I'm Ben Curtis. Another look at the Big Ten standings. Wisconsin right now leading the pack, but a bit of a surprise in Columbus. The Wisconsin Badgers, trailing 1-0 after Ohio State won the first set in extras. Wisconsin comes to College Park tomorrow to take on the Terrapins, but the Buckeyes giving them all they can handle in the Buckeye State. Back here in College Park, Rachel Kilkelly gets a touch and gets it over to Adana Rollins. Bergio able to keep it alive, though. Now Schreiner gets on the board for Maryland.
And that's going to be really important for Maryland to get some of their other hitters going. That is Schreiner's second kill of the match here. Didn't see a lot of action there in that first set. Here's another look. Went a little cross court there. Got the point.
Now DeLonga for a sliding Reagan Pittman gets it to go. So the lead back up to 7 now for the Golden Gophers. It's among the largest of today's match. Taylor Morgan will check back in for the Golden Gophers as Rollins will go to the line. Pritchard corrals it. Snyder sets it for Jada Gardner right down Main Street. But now Miyabi will have the opportunity for Minnesota. Erica Pritchard on the left side. Can't fight it through the block, and Snyder has to send it over with the left hand. McGraw with a bump set. For Miyabi a second time. Bergio gets a hand on it, and now Erica Pritchard off speed. Minnesota having some trouble with it, and credit the point to the Terps.
That was a lift there called on Minnesota, but that was a good job there by Maryland to stay in the point and get that communication going.
Snyder will come off, and Chloe Prejean will come off as we get another look at the point for Maryland. It's Prejean right to the line. Grew up watching Maryland sports, wanted to be a Maryland Terrapin, and now here she is on the Xfinity Center Pavilion court. Rivas, bump set behind her for Pritchard, cross court. Cece McGraw equal to the task. And now Rivas will try the other side for Taylor Smith, and DeLonga gets a hand on it. That one's blocked by Maryland. Erica Pritchard getting up and meeting Minnesota.
And Jada Gardner was there too, and like I said at the beginning of the match, their other blockers are going to need to step up to fill the hole without Katie Myers, and that's what Pritchard and Gardner did.
Prejean's float of a serve finds its way to Hart, but give another point to Maryland off of another lift. In case you're just joining us, Katie Myers is out with a foot sprain today. The Westerville, Ohio native, who is tied for the team lead in service aces, leads the team in blocks, and has been an offensive catalyst for Maryland. She is not on the floor today. She won't be on the floor tomorrow either against Wisconsin. Big news out of the Maryland Terrapins camp. That one's fought through the block, and now Rivas for Erica Pritchard once again tools the block, and the Terps within 3.
And they're going to need to get her back in her groove to get their momentum going. Right now she is at 7 kills. Here's another look. Rivas with the assist.
Reagan Pittman was just able to get a hand on it, but timeout, we will step aside. Maryland trying to fight back into it. Here on the Big Ten Network alongside Kelsey Mannix, I'm Ben Curtis. That's Erica Pritchard with 7 kills on the day, 12 digs as well, but she has had 3 hitting errors, and that puts her in the negative. That puts Chloe Prejean at the service line as well. Rollins hits it behind her. McGraw hustles all the way back to keep it alive. And it falls to Sam Bergio. Now Prejean for Pritchard. Falls back to McGraw. And now Hart tools the block, and Minnesota back up by 4.
And that is her bread and butter, finding that spot relatively in the middle of the court, in the middle where Maryland players are not. They're kind of standing in a circle around it. Good job by her to find that spot.
A lot of credit on that point, though, has to go to CC McGraw, tracking all the way back towards the Golden Gophers bench to keep the play off of the ground. Bergio hits it behind her. That one's not going to be kept off the floor, out towards the Maryland bench, and the Golden Gophers with back-to-back points out of the timeout. That will send Sam Bergio to the bench. Rebecca Rath onto the floor. And that will cause Pritchard likely to go back to the back row. Reagan Pittman at the line. 4 service errors, 2 service aces so far for Minnesota. And now Prejean setting it up for Pritchard, takes a deflection, and Pritchard gets kill number 8. Right back to the line she goes. Season high in kills is 25 against Kansas State, and what was a 5-set victory all the way back in the month of August. But here we are in November, and Tamara DeLonga, trying to set it up for Alexis Hart, and she does so.
Yeah, she changed it up a little bit there, went off speed with the tip and went short instead of going past that 10-foot line.
DeLonga will come out. Bailey McMenamin right back in, and she goes to the line. That one's well out of bounds, though. Maryland gets the point right back off of the service error from Minnesota, number 5 on the day for them.
It's going to be important for Maryland to take advantage of this, especially this late in the set. They need that opportunity whenever they can get it. We'll see what they do here.
Gardner serves, gets it to McMenamin. And now Alexis Hart off speed. Pritchard keeping it off the floor, and Rebecca Raff will go off speed herself. McMenamin over to the far side, can't get through the block, and Maryland back within 3.
That's gonna be Raynell Jones' 4th block on the day. Good job by her to get up there. Here's another look.
Closing in on 100 blocks is Raynell Jones. That's 95 on the campaign for her. Alexis Hart out of the back row with authority. She'll come out of the game, but not before she makes an impact on it. Coming out of the back row with plenty of power. That's her 7th kill of the day. Minnesota 3 points away from taking a stranglehold on this match. And Raynell Jones swings and misses. Mistimed her jump off of the set from Chloe Prejean. And the Golden Gophers open it back up to 5.
Here's another look. That's just an unfortunate miscommunication there by the Terrapins.
Just couldn't time it up with Prejean, and another service error from Minnesota. That's number 6 on the day. They had 105 service errors in 20 games, so that's averaging just a tick over 5, but here we are in the second set and already surpassing that total. Can the Terrapins take advantage? It's Snyder, but she went over the line on the serve. A mental mistake from Samantha Snyder, and 5 service set points coming up for CC McGraw and the Golden Gophers. Terps need a side out to stay in the second. And Rack sends it over, blocked by Rivas, but Minnesota going to get the point. It's the Minnesota Golden Gophers team that has been a stalwart at the top of NCAA Women's College Volleyball. They haven't had a losing record since 1995. Very good on the road as well, 6-2 on the season, undefeated at home have the Golden Gophers been. Battle at the net won by Minnesota, and it's the Golden Gophers who get on the scoreboard first in the third.
Yes, Snyder was trying to go up for that one-handed set for Raynell Jones. As you can see here, didn't quite work out.
And you have to wonder how many of those duels at the net would end differently if number 23 in white was in the game, Katie Myers. If you're just joining us, out today and out tomorrow as well with a foot sprain. Erica Pritchard can't get it through the Minnesota block. 2 straight points for the Golden Gophers to start things off.
That looks like Taylor Morgan getting up there and just stuffing that kill attempt from Erica Pritchard.
Credit it to both Morgan and Stephanie Samity. Now Rebecca Raff tries her luck off speed. And after Pritchard couldn't get it through the block, Rebecca Raff goes over the block.
Yeah, exactly. And she was able to read Minnesota's defense very well. As you can see here, there's a hole right there, just inside that 10-foot line. She found it. Minnesota couldn't get there. And
just in front of Bailey McMenamin as well, who has 15 assists on the day. Looking for number 16. She sends it right down the middle for Morgan. Denied by Maryland. And this set is even at 2.
Raynell Jones just kind of gave Minnesota a taste of their own medicine. She put it right back in their faces, just like Minnesota did by stuffing Pritchard's attempt.
Give Jones 5 blocks on the day. Point goes right back the other way, though, as it is hit into the net. Looks like that's Maddie Nauman who's in the game for the Terrapins. The transfer from the University of Miami hasn't seen a lot of playing time, only 6 matches, make this match number 7. She hasn't appeared in multiple sets in one match all season long. CC McGraw, who's seen plenty of time for the Golden Gophers, serves it, and Jones has to send it over for a free ball. McMenamin right down the middle for Reagan Pittman.
She has a huge height advantage over the Maryland players. She stands at 6'5". She was ready for that ball to come her way, and she just puts it right down. Her swing is so quick, and it's tough for Maryland to react to that.
Maryland doesn't have a player taller than 6'3". That's what both Erica Pritchard and Raynell Jones stand at. And here is Raynell Jones going down the right side. Give her 5 kills on the day to go along with the 5 blocks, as she will come out to the game, and Allegra Rivas will go to the line. Right down the middle for Raynell Jones, going over to the side. Ball gets to McMenamin, and now Adana Rollins blocked by the Terps, and Rollins will have to send over a free. Snyder, right down the middle, Jada Gardner denied. Minnesota using their height, Kelsey.
Yeah, absolutely. Reagan Pittman right there getting her first block of the match, which is a little bit surprising considering how active she is up on that front row.
Yeah, the Terps are winning the blocking game right now 7-3. But Reagan Pittman has been active in the middle of the court for the Golden Gophers. Snyder gets it to Rivas. And now Cece McGraw will set it up for Miyabe. Snyder keeps it in play, and Rivas with a bump set to Pritchard off of her back foot. And a nice play to keep it alive. There's Adana Rollins off speed, and Nauman keeps it off the floor. A free ball coming the other way. Samity touched it first. Now McGraw with a bump set to Rollins. Find the back corner. 6-3, Minnesota leads, and make it a dozen kills for Adana Rollins. Going right down the side and just sneaking it in front of the baseline. And Adana Rollins leads at 12. Leads all players, should I say, with 12 kills. Coming back the other way, though, is Maryland. Getting a kill, finding the back corner themselves. Snyder, go ahead, Kelsey.
That was Jada Gardner. That was her first kill on the day, getting up there in the middle.
Snyder and Schreiner will come off, and Chloe Prejean will step into the game and go right to the line. And the serve gets it over to DeLonga. Now down the middle for Miyabe. Prejean for Erica Pritchard off speed. Pancake save and a kick save by Miyabe. But Minnesota couldn't keep it off of the floor. Certainly wasn't for a lack of trying from Heidi Miyabe.
Absolutely. I think that plays like that are going to give Maryland some momentum here. We'll see if they can keep it going.
Well, the Terps back to within 1 as we take another look at the Golden Gophers trying to keep it off, and you see it, the kick there from Miyabe. Doing anything she can to keep the ball off of the floor. Reagan Pittman mistimed her jump, but still got it over. And now Erica Pritchard cross court. Heck of a play from Cece McGraw. She has been so impressive defensively tonight, and Miyabe cleans it up for the 2-point lead.
She did a good job there, just sneaking it inside that back line where no Maryland player was.
Make it 9 digs for Cece McGraw. And it seems like all of them have been athletic ones. Rollins to the line. Pritchard, Prejean, Pritchard. It's wide, not off of the block, and Minnesota back up by 3. See there, Erica Pritchard make that 4 attack errors for her. 5, as a matter of fact, now just hitting 133 on the day. Pritchard can't get it to Prejean.
And she was ready there to play it off of the net, but it just snuck right under there, and she couldn't make a play on it.
Adam Hughes will want to talk things over with his team. We will step aside as well. Minnesota up by 4 in set number 3. Back here on the Big Ten Network alongside Kelsey Mannix, I'm Ben Curtis. Here are the Wisconsin Badgers, Maryland's next opponents, coming to town 6 p.m. tomorrow, right back here on Big Ten Network Plus, But first, Wisconsin having plenty of trouble in Columbus, Ohio. They are down 2-0 right now. The number 4 ranked Wisconsin Badgers getting all they can handle from Ohio State, who's just 5-7 in conference play. A big upset perhaps brewing in Columbus. Right back here, though, in College Park, Minnesota leading set number 3, 9-5. And Rivas getting it to Pritchard, tooling the block, and Maryland back within 3. Erica Erica Pritchard will get into double digits in the kill department. 10 kills and 13 digs, so another double-double for Erica Pritchard. DeLonga now for Hart. Fights through the block for the point. Alexis Hart really started to come alive here in the second and now the third set.
Definitely, and when she takes her approaches, she just has all that power. As you can see here, it's going up, taking her arm back, getting ready for that big swing, and it goes off the Maryland block.
Yeah, Smith was in position, but Alexis Hart able to get it through. Pritchard now for Smith, and Jada Gardner with both hands. Rollins setting it up this time, and Rivas is there defensively. Prejean, Rebecca Rath goes cross court, finds the corner.
That was a smart move for her there to go off speed and find that spot in between those two Minnesota players to get Maryland back in it.
The Golden Gophers just can't quite shake the Terrapins, but still the 3-point advantage for the Golden Gophers. DeLonga for Taylor Morgan. Haven't said her name a whole lot today, but with emphasis to get up to point number 11.
Those quick sets are just so hard to defend. As you can see there, she was up and ready by the time the ball left the setter's hands.
Very quiet 5 kills for Taylor Morgan out of Blaine, Minnesota, second team all Big Ten last year. McMenamin's serve is long and another service error from Minnesota. That is number 7 on the day.
That's been one area where they have struggled, and Maryland needs to take advantage of it if they want to stay in this set and possibly take one from the number 6 ranked Gophers.
The serve from Snyder finds its way to Rollins. And now Hart sending it over with the left hand. Bit of a tough angle for Maryland to defend there, and that one goes into the net. Minnesota back up by 4.
That was a tough break there for Maryland. They were communicating pretty well, just took a bad touch, did not make it over the net.
Rachel Kilkelly back at the line. Serving it with the right hand. Rivas has some trouble with it. Pritchard goes off of her back foot. Now McMenamin right down the middle for Morgan. It took a deflection and Maryland was able to slow it down. Now Rebecca Rath tools the block. That's going to be a point for the Terrapins. Maddie Nauman will go to the line. An Austin, Texas native, started her career in Coral Gables down in South Florida. Took the trip up to College Park, all the way up 95. Stephanie Samity from the right side.
That was a good move by Samity there. Here's another look at it. Off of the back set, right in front of Maryland's defense in the back row.
CeCe McGraw next to the line. Nauman controls it. Now Snyder, Erica Pritchard, and McMenamin couldn't keep it in play. The Terps up to double-digit points here in set number 3. Set number 1 went 25-21. Set number 2, 25-19 in favor of the Golden Gophers. Allegra Rivas' serve. Gets to McMenamin, back to Rollins. Ball's onto the Terp side. Pritchard sends it over and wide. Erica Pritchard a bit off balance there, and Minnesota grabs the 4-point lead right back.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate turn of events there for Maryland off of that touch going out of bounds. We'll see if they can bounce back from it, only down 4.
Samity serve controlled by Nauman. Rivas for Pritchard. Samity there. McGraw with a long bump set all the way to Adana Rollins. And Rollins will get credit for the kill, but credit CeCe McGraw with excellent vision all the way across the court.
Definitely seeing that Rollins is open and has been doing so well in this match, hitting .393 with 13 kills, only 2 errors. Good move by the Gophers.
Nauman for Snyder down the middle for Jada Gardner. Just the second kill on the day for number 4 in white, the redshirt sophomore from Texas. But she brings Maryland back within 4 and slows the Minnesota rush.
And whenever she goes up for kills, she does it with force, and that is exactly what she did there to get the deficit back to 4.
Chloe Prejean to the line. Rollins couldn't get it over to McGraw. Make it a service ace for Chloe Prejean. First of the day for the junior from Clear Spring, Maryland. 4th of the season. Dolonga with it. Off of her back foot is Miyabe. Pritchard can't keep it alive. That's 4 touches for the Terrapins to get it over.
And you saw Prejean there calling for help. She couldn't get to the ball. Thought another player had a better positioning on it. Unfortunate turn of events there for Maryland.
Rollins is served. Pritchard gets it, and Gardner slides. Jada Gardner with a couple of kills here in the 3rd set.
Once again, using that power to her advantage. Minnesota can't respond.
And a good assist as well from Chloe Prejean to recognize that Gardner was sliding from her left to her right. McGraw gets it over to Dolonga, and Miyabe puts it down. Every time Maryland gets back to within 3, Minnesota opens the deficit right back up, and the Golden Gophers start to head down the home stretch.
Yeah, and here's Miyabe's hit again. That's going to be her 7th.
Took a deflection off of Jada Gardner. Reagan Pittman at the line next. And Rivas for Prejean. Back set for Gardner. And now Dolonga for Taylor Morgan. Pritchard sends it wildly. It takes a big deflection off the stanchion. Home court advantage for the Terrapins. And a big dig as well. Duel at the net. Right back on to Minnesota's side. Taylor Morgan will not be denied.
That was a great job by both teams hustling for that ball, especially on Maryland's side, taking advantage of that deflection. Since it did not get over the net, they could still keep it in play. But Minnesota with that response and putting it down with authority.
Took a wild deflection off the stanchions here on the roof of the Xfinity Center Pavilion after it looked like Pritchard had destined that to be a Minnesota point. Rath will send it over with both hands. And now Miyabe cross court. Smith gets over. Pritchard hits off of her back foot. Dolonga. Taylor Morgan fights through the block. And now Rivas for Rebecca Rath cross court. Reagan Pittman right there. And Alexis Hart book it.
She's been doing that all match.
Give her 9. Make it a solo block as well as she's closing in on 100 on the season. Now up to 97. Alexis Hart. Chloe Prejean couldn't find a teammate. Prejean was able to handle the attack, but couldn't send it to anybody, and Minnesota up to 20. Rebecca Rath looked like it was the intended recipient, but she was backing up to get to an attacking position. And now Stephanie Samity will come on in place of Tamara Dolonga. Samity, who became the first freshman in Minnesota history to become a first-team All-American in 2017. Back into the game for the Golden Gophers, but it's McMenamin to the line. Pritchard. Prejean, Rath tools the block. And now McMenamin over to the far side for Alexis Hart, denied.
Once again, that is Raynell Jones, and getting a help actually from Taylor Smith there with that block. Should be a good momentum boost for them. Deficit is back to 4. Yeah, actually, correction. That was a solo block there by Taylor Smith.
The senior from Indiana getting over in plenty of time. McMenamin doesn't have time to get to that one, and the lead down to 3.
And this is exactly what Maryland needed right now. One of their best servers on the team, getting an ace for them. Now they're only down 3. We'll see what they do.
First service ace on the day for Samantha Snyder, and now she is all alone as Maryland's service ace lead on the season. She gives the point right back, though, hitting it into the net, and Minnesota starting to close in. Rachel Kilkelly back into the game for the Golden Gophers. Pritchard with an overpass. Taylor Morgan cleans it up.
And I said this earlier in the match, those overpasses are going to be crucial. Taylor Morgan took advantage of it, put Minnesota back up by 5.
Terps in danger of losing their 12th consecutive set and 4th consecutive match by the score of 3-0. Rebecca Rath trying to change that. Can't get it through the block. Raynell Jones can, but it's kept alive by McMenamin. And now Rollins, who's been a bit more quiet in this third set, and Rebecca Rath again. Rollins will try for a second time. That one's long. Adana Rollins still sitting on a baker's dozen kills and her third attack error on the day as she has started to cool off here in the third. Rath right back to the line. 3-time Division 9A Florida Player of the Year in high school in Altamonte Springs, Florida. Pritchard gets over. Rivas sends it over. And now Samity, blocked by Maryland again.
Raynell Jones has really stepped up here at the net with the help of Pritchard that time around. Here we are taking a look.
That was all Jones.
Absolutely.
Make it 8 blocks on the day for her. One more would give her the century. Rollins. Is it wide? It is. And Maryland within 2. Good string of serves from Rebecca Rath. And Maryland not quite done just yet. Rath serve controlled by Kilkelly. McMenamin. Samity goes cross court. Now Rivas for Erica Pritchard. 1 point set. And that will force Hugh McCutcheon to take a timeout. Minnesota trying to close out Maryland, but the Terps not going away without a fight. Four straight points for the Maryland Terrapins to cut it to a 1-point set, 22-21 as we head down the home stretch in the third. Rebecca Rath has been presiding over this run for the Terps at the line. Well, the timeout cool them down. McGraw gets handcuffed a bit, but gets it to McMenamin. And now Adana Rollins. Snyder. Erica Pritchard off of the block. And Minnesota right back up by 2. Big block there for the Golden Gophers. It's only their 4th of the day, but it's their most crucial.
Definitely. It puts them up by 2 here. 1 more point. They have match point here. We'll see what they do. McGraw's at the line.
Only 54% of the time Maryland has successfully notched a side out. Rivas. Schreiner can't keep it in play, and it will be 3 straight match points coming up for the Golden Gophers. The visiting Minnesota crowd on their feet. C.C. McGraw. Rivas. Emma Schreiner blocked by Minnesota. Jones sends it wide. And that will do it. Minnesota with a straight set victory over the Maryland Terrapins. 25-21, 25-19, 25-21. Adana Rollins leads all players with